Hey, Divine Feminine, there's something heavy on my heart that I need to share with you. I've been carrying it for a while now, and it's eating at me in ways I can't quite explain. It feels like an unbearable weight that's been pressing on my chest, making it hard to breathe, hard to think, and honestly, hard to live with. The truth is, I've made one of the biggest mistakes of my life, one that has left me lost, drowning in guilt, and unsure of how to move forward. I can barely wrap my mind around what happened, let alone figure out how to repair the damage I've caused. I feel like I've completely messed everything up, and the consequences are already rippling through my life. The weight of what I've done is suffocating. Every time I think about it, every time the memory replays in my head, I feel a tightness in my chest, and it's as though the world around me starts to spin uncontrollably. It feels like everything I've worked for, everything I've built, is unraveling, and I have no way of stopping it. There's a third party involved, someone who, for better or worse, I had a meaningful connection with. Someone whose presence in my life has now been tainted by my mistake. And the worst part, they're not speaking to me anymore. That silence, that cold, empty space, has become my reality. And it cuts deeper than I ever thought silence could. It's like the final nail in the coffin of something I can't fix. The connection we shared, the bond I thought we were building, is shattered. I can feel the pieces of it slipping through my fingers, and no matter how hard I try to grasp at them, they're just out of reach. It's hard to even find the words to express the depth of the regret I feel. Last night, in a moment that should have been an ordinary conversation, I made an irreversible mistake. I wish I could take it all back, but I can't. And the worst part is that it wasn't intentional. It wasn't calculated. It wasn't something I planned. And yet it happened. And the effects have been devastating. I did something I never thought I would. Something I never imagined I could do. In a moment of emotional vulnerability, a moment of confusion, a moment where my mind was not fully present, I accidentally called that third party by your name. Yes, your name. The instant the words left my mouth, I knew. I knew I had crossed a line that can't be uncrossed. It wasn't just a slip of the tongue. It wasn't just a mix-up of names. It was a reflection of something much deeper. It was a sign that my mind and heart were not aligned, that I was carrying unaddressed emotions that I hadn't fully acknowledged. The energy in the room shifted in an instant. The air felt thick, charged with the weight of my mistake. It was as if everything stopped for a moment, and in that pause, the regret and the devastation set in. I saw it in their eyes, the shock, the hurt, the disappointment. They didn't need to say a word for me to understand the gravity of what had just happened. The look on their face said it all. And in that moment, I realized just how much harm I had caused. It wasn't just a small misstep. It wasn't just a simple misunderstanding. No, this was much bigger. This was a breach of trust, an error that could alter the course of our relationship forever. And I knew there was no way to undo it. Desperate to explain myself, I tried to justify my words. I tried to make them understand that it was just an accident, just a slip, but my words only seemed to make things worse. I kept stumbling over my own thoughts, trying to dig myself out of the hole I had just created. But it was no use. The damage had already been done. I could feel the distance between us widening with every word I spoke. It wasn't just a simple mistake. It was a symptom of something deeper that I hadn't been paying attention to. My mind and heart were fractured, and my actions were a direct reflection of that internal turmoil. That's the hardest part of this. The hardest part is realizing that my mistake wasn't just an isolated incident. It wasn't just a one-time slip. No, it was a manifestation of everything I've been struggling with, everything I've been neglecting to face within myself. And now, because of that, I am left to pick up the pieces of something that I may not be able to fix. I keep replaying the moment in my head over and over again, wishing that I could have been more present, more mindful, more aware. I wish I could have stopped myself before the words left my mouth, but I didn't. And now, am left with this heavy, suffocating guilt and the crushing weight of knowing that I have hurt someone I care about deeply. Since that moment, I haven't heard a single word from the third party. Not a call, not a text, not even a simple acknowledgement. The silence has been deafening. It feels like an impenetrable wall has gone up between us, and every attempt I make to break through it has been met with nothing. I keep staring at my phone, waiting for a message, waiting for a sign, but nothing comes. The silence is relentless, and it's driving me to the edge of despair. I know I've messed up. There's no denying it. I know I've caused pain, and I know that pain is something I can't take back. The reality of my actions is settling in, and it's hard to come to terms with. It's hard to face the truth of what I've done. But even in the midst of this mess, there's a small part of me that holds on to the belief that this isn't the end of the story. I know it feels like everything is falling apart right now, but I believe that relationships, true, meaningful relationships, are built on trust, understanding, and sometimes forgiveness. I hope that even though it feels impossible right now, this relationship is not beyond repair. I've learned something important in all of this. I've learned that intention matters, that every word, every action, every moment carries weight. One careless moment, one thoughtless decision can send ripples of consequences far beyond what we expect. I've learned that words have power, more power than we realize. They can heal, but they can also harm. They can build connections, but they can also destroy them. And I've learned that it's crucial to be present, to be aware, to be fully engaged in every moment, because the consequences of our actions are often far reaching. I'm sharing this with you because deep down, I know I'm not the only one who has ever been in a situation like this. We all make mistakes. We all have moments where we hurt those we care about. And in those moments, it can feel like we've lost everything. It can feel like the damage is irreparable. But I believe that in sharing our struggles, in being vulnerable, we can find a way forward. We can find healing. We can find wisdom in the mistakes we make, and we can grow from them. Maybe by sharing this with you, I can find some peace. Maybe I can find a way to navigate this path of healing, to rebuild what I've broken, and to move forward with a deeper understanding of myself and the people around me. Maybe by speaking these words, I can start to unburden myself from the guilt I've been carrying. I'm not asking for forgiveness, not yet anyway, but I'm asking for understanding. I'm asking for a chance to make things right, to show that I can learn from this and do better. I don't know what the future holds. I don't know if I can fix what I've broken, but I do know that I am willing to try. I am willing to learn from this experience, to face the consequences of my actions, and to move forward with a greater sense of awareness and responsibility. I'm asking for a second chance, not just from the third party involved, but from myself. I'm asking for the opportunity to heal, to grow, and to become someone who doesn't repeat the same mistakes. If you're still with me, if you've stayed with me through all of this, I just want to say thank you. I'm not sure where this journey will take me, but I know that in sharing this, I am starting to find my way out of the darkness. I hope that through this process, I can come to a place of healing. I hope that someday, I can rebuild the connections I've lost. And I hope that in the end, I can learn to forgive myself for the mistakes I've made. Thank you for being here, for listening, and for offering the space to process all of this. I need it more than you know.